Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing an explainer on a corner of the blockchain world that's really trying to change how we look at digital stuff, ownership in virtual economies.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space.
Definitely. Because look, the promise of actually owning your digital things has often hit these big walls, right? It's complicated. It costs too much.
For sure. Big barriers.
So today we're looking at WAX, the Worldwide Asset Exchange. It's a blockchain built, well, specifically to tear down those walls, basically. Make Web3 easier, maybe even effortless.
That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah.
Make it accessible.
We'll break down the basics, look at what makes it different, and see where it's actually being used. Games, collectibles, all that metaverse stuff.
Sounds good. But maybe first, just the quick disclaimer.
Sure. Right. Good call. Go ahead.
Okay, so just remember, everyone, the info we're sharing today is it's pulled together from lots of places online, compiled using AI.
Mm-hmm.
We try hard to be accurate, but hey, mistakes can happen, misinformation too. So nothing we say here is financial advice.
Yeah.
Okay? This is purely for education. Always do your own research, use your common sense.
Absolutely critical. Let's get into it. What is WAX like at its core?
Okay, so WAX is fundamentally a blockchain platform, but it's very specialized. It was built from the ground up, really optimized for NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and also for GameFi, which is basically blockchain gaming, and for building out parts of the metaverse.
Specialized. Okay.
Yeah, its whole mission is about making digital ownership and these, virtual economies work really smoothly, make them efficient, easy to access, cutting out the usual blockchain friction. Think of it like purpose-built plumbing for the digital collectible world.
Purpose-built infrastructure. I like that. And NFTs. We hear that term constantly, but maybe just a quick, simple refresher. What is an NFT, especially in the WAX world?
Right, good point. So on WAX, an NFT isn't just some static signature. It's more like a unique digital contract living on the blockchain.
No.
It's not like, say, a dollar bill where one is the same as another.
Non-fungible.
Exactly. Each NFT is totally unique, can't be swapped one for one. It proves, definitively, that you own that specific digital thing. Could be digital art, a trading card, maybe a sword in a game, or a skin for your character.
Gotcha.
And WAX really focuses on making these things not just ownable, but super easy to trade and actually use.
So it's proof you own it, undeniably. Which is, totally different from how we usually just license digital stuff. Now, WAX started back in 2017. That was a pretty wild time in crypto.
Oh, yeah.
What was the big problem they saw then? What led to this everything chain idea? What made them different from other projects popping up?
Well, back in 2017, owning digital things was still pretty new, kind of clunky. Most blockchains were trying to be everything to everyone, not really focused.
General purpose.
Yeah. The WAX founders saw this gap. It was just too hard and too expensive to make, trade, and own digital assets, especially things like collectibles or game items.
Okay.
So their vision, the everything chain, was about being the go-to place for all things digital assets. Really push Web3 into the mainstream. But the key difference, I think, was this laser focus on frictionless integration.
Frictionless integration. What does that mean practically?
It means they wanted to build something easy. Easy for regular web developers, Web 2 folks, to jump in, and easy for people already deep in blockchain. It wasn't just about being decentralized, it was about being useful, practical, getting lots of people using it. They wanted to hide the blockchain complexity from the user, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. So foundation laid, big vision. If they're trying to be this frictionless everything chain, what are the standout features? What makes WAX, WAX in this super crowded space?
Well, probably the biggest one, the headline feature, is how they handle transaction costs.
Yeah.
WAX is dipped to have essentially zero transaction fees for the end user.
Zero, really?
Yeah. Which is, a massive difference from chains like Ethereum, where you're paying gas fees for pretty much everything you do, sending tokens, interacting with a contract.
It adds up. Okay, zero fees sounds amazing. Almost too amazing. How do they pull that off? How does the network keep running and stop people from just spamming it if transactions are free? What's the catch or the clever mechanism?
Right. It's not exactly free in the sense that nothing costs anything. It's more about how you pay. Instead of a fee per transaction, users stake WAX tokens.
Stake, lock them up.
Exactly. You lock up some WAX tokens, and that gives you access to network resources, CPU time, network bandwidth, RAM storage on the blockchain.
Oh, okay.
So while the individual click, the transaction itself, feels free, you still need to commit some resources, some stake to participate. This stops spam, because a spammer would need to stake a huge amount of WAX to cause trouble.
So it's a resource model, not a fee per action model.
Precisely. And what that unlocks is huge. Imagine a game where you could trade I don't know, a single button on a character's coat, or perform some tiny action. Things that would cost way too much in gas fees elsewhere become totally viable.
Microtransactions on a whole new level.
Or even nanotransactions. It allows for these tiny nano-economies where user creativity could just explode because there's no cost barrier to every little interaction. It changes what value can even mean for a digital item.
Wow, okay. That's a really different way of thinking about it. And this low-cost approach, it applies to actually making the NFTs too, right? Not just trading them. High minting fees would kill those nano economies fast.
Absolutely. The cost effectiveness is dramatic when it comes to creating NFTs. Minting an NFT on WAX is incredibly cheap. Sources we looked at said it costs something like 151 kilobytes of that blockchain RAM resource.
151 KB?
Yeah, which back when those sources were written, translated to about 0.09 WAX token, roughly maybe 3 cents US, compared to, tens or even hundreds of dollars to mint one NFT on some other chains. It's night and day.
3 cents versus tens of dollars. Yeah, okay, that's huge. So with costs that low, what kind of creative stuff does that enable? You see things like NFT packs, right? How do those work? Is that possible because the minting is so cheap?
Exactly. Those NFT packs are a perfect example. Think of them like digital trading card booster packs.
Okay, yeah.
Creators can bundle multiple NFTs together in one pack, often with different rarities, like you might get common ones, maybe an uncommon, and a small chance at a super rare one.
Just like physical packs.
Pretty much. They define these rarity structures. This whole model distributing lots of NFTs at once, getting them out to lots of people, it just wouldn't make economic sense if each NFT cost dollars to mint. But on WAX, it's totally feasible, it's popular, it makes collecting digital stuff feel more like, well, traditional collecting.
So it's not just cheap fees, but there's a whole ecosystem around it. Marketplaces, tools for people who want to make stuff. Is it easy to jump in?
Yeah, accessibility is key for them. WAX has AtomicHub, which is, it's one of the biggest NFT marketplaces out there, period. And it's known for being pretty user-friendly.
AtomicHub, okay.
Because WAX is fast and the NFT standards are clear, selling and trading is basically instant. Plus, AtomicHub itself has this built-in NFT creator tool. If you have a WAX account, you can apparently mint an NFT in minutes, basically for free, just using those staked resources.
Wow, really lowers the barrier.
Totally. And then for people doing more complex stuff like those packs, there are other platforms like Nifty Blocks that offer free tools for creating packs and managing distributions. They really try to give creators the tools they need.
That sounds incredibly open. Now, there was another feature you mentioned that sounded wild, VIRL NFTs. Virtual and real life, bridging digital and physical. Tell me more about that. How does that work?
Yeah, VIRL NFTs are pretty unique to WAX. It stands for, like you said, virtual in real life. These are special NFTs, digital certificates on the blockchain, but they're directly linked to a physical item or maybe even a service in the real world.
Linked how?
So you own the VIRL NFT, and that proves you have the right to the physical thing. Then you can choose to redeem it. When you do, the NFT might be burned or transferred, and the company holding the physical item ships it to you or arranges the service.
So like a digital claim check?
Kind of, yeah, but a verifiable blockchain-backed one. Think luxury goods where you want to prove authenticity, or event tickets, or maybe rights to a physical product you bought digitally first.
What are the challenges there? Seems like you need trust in the physical side.
Absolutely. The weak link is always that final step, getting the physical item reliably. It relies on trusted partners who manage the inventory and redemption. But WAX has built partnerships to handle this. It's about moving beyond just digital value to tangible value, connected through the blockchain.
That VRL concept, connecting digital and physical, it's pretty mind-bending. So, okay, what's the engine making all this run? How does the tech underneath WAX deliver these features, handle all these NFTs, and keep costs down? Let's look under the hood.
Okay, so the core technology, the way they agree on transactions, is delegated proof of stake, or DPoS.
DPoS, okay, what's that in simple terms?
Instead of everyone competing to validate transactions like in Bitcoin's proof of work.
Which uses tons of energy.
Right. In DPoS, the holders of WAX tokens vote to elect a limited number of block producers. Think of them like elected officials for the network. These producers are the ones who actually validate transactions and create the new blocks.
So fewer validators makes it faster?
Generally, yes. It usually leads to much faster and more efficient transaction processing. That's why it's good for things like games and collectibles that need high volume and speed.
Now, doesn't that bring up the whole scalability trilemma thing, balancing decentralization, speed, and security? How does WAX handle that trade-off?
Yeah, that's the classic challenge. And it's interesting because sources kind of differ on how they see WAX here. Some analyses, like one from Antier Solutions, say WAX offers unparalleled scalability and performance, especially for the metaverse because of DPoS.
Unparalleled, okay.
But then other analyses, like a diagram from Twimbit, they suggest that while WAX is strong on decentralization and security, its scalability might actually be considered low when compared broadly to other solutions.
Huh. Low scalability, but also unparalleled scalability. How does that work?
It shows how definitions matter, right? What one analysis calls low in a general comparison might still be incredibly high and perfectly suited for WAX's specific goals, handling millions of NFT and game transactions quickly. The unparalleled might refer specifically to its efficiency for those tasks. It depends on the benchmark.
So it's a strategic choice, maybe less scalable in theory than some massive financial chain, but perfectly scaled for its job, like gaming.
That seems to be the argument. DPoS is optimized for that high-volume, low-latency stuff that games and collectibles need. They prioritize the user experience and speed for their niche over, say, maximum possible decentralization that might slow things down or make them expensive. For millions of tiny game actions, they argue their balance is better for mass adoption.
Okay, makes sense tailoring the tech.
Yeah.
Now, with this DPoS system, with elected block producers, how do you make sure they stay honest and do a good job, keep the network healthy?
That's where another unique piece comes in. The Office Inspector General, or
OIG. Sounds official.
it kind of is. It's an independent body that constantly monitors all the block producers. They collect data, measure performance, check stability, see how they contribute back to the ecosystem.
And then what?
Then, every month, the OIG releases these objective rankings. It creates really strong competition between the block producers. They're incentivized not just to run good servers, but also to build tools, support developers, and generally help the WAX network grow. It's like a built-in quality control and motivation system.
Interesting. Keeps them competing to be the best. And what about the actual smart contracts? How do they work to create these unique NFTs?
WAX uses smart contracts for the core stuff, especially tokenizing assets. These contracts basically embed all the information about a digital item. Its name, description, rarity, image link, whatever metadata is relevant directly into the token itself when it's minted.
So the token is the unique items record.
Exactly. That's how you get verifiable uniqueness on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And they have well-defined standards for these tokens, which is important. So marketplaces like AtomiChub know how to display and trade them properly.
Okay, tech covered. Let's talk impact. Where is WAX actually being used out there? How popular is it getting? Are they breaking into the mainstream like they aim to?
They've definitely made some significant inroads. A big example is their Game Brawlers. It's a Web3 game, but it launched on the Epic Games Store.
Wow, Epic. That's huge for PC gaming.
Massive reach. Over 230 million gamers on that platform. And then just recently in 2024, they did a deal with Amazon Prime Gaming.
Amazon Prime Gaming, what did that involve?
Prime members could get exclusive in-game content for brawlers and even free WAX accounts to get started easily. That's pushing blockchain gaming right into the laps of mainstream gamers. It's a huge validation.
Definitely lowers the barrier to entry. Are they doing similar things with collectibles? Getting big names involved?
Oh yeah, that's another major area. They partnered with Funko, the pop vinyl figure.
So Funko, seriously?
Yep, and the platform Drop. Through them, they've brought huge brands onto WAX for digital collectibles. We're talking Disney, Star Wars, DC Comics. Major names releasing official digital collectibles, often linked to physical ones via those VRL NFTs.
That's mainstream trust right there. Big
Yeah.
brands wouldn't jump in lightly.
Exactly. It shows confidence in WAX's ability to handle licensed, high-demand digital items and translate that physical collecting buzz into the digital world with real ownership. And maybe the biggest signal of enterprise trust, their integration with Amazon Web Services, AWS.
AWS, how so?
WAX is now part of Amazon Managed Blockchain, AMB. It means developers using AWS can easily build decentralized apps on WAX or add Web3 features to their existing stuff using familiar AWS tools. WAX is even an official Amazon solutions provider now, offering toolkits and help.
Okay, that's more than just a partnership. That's like infrastructure level integration with a tech giant.
It's a massive endorsement of their stability and utility, yeah.
So all these partnerships, the low costs, the easy tools,
Wow.
is it translating into a big community? Is it actually getting popular?
Well, all those elements, the low costs, the user friendliness, the big marketplace, they're absolutely designed to build a big, active community of both creators and users. And landing deals with Epic, Amazon, Funko. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. It shows growing adoption and real confidence from major players that WAX can deliver. It's all geared towards building that sustainable digital economy they talk about.
It really sounds like WAX is tackling the pain points people feel in traditional gaming or digital collecting, doesn't it? Like, you buy a game skin, you don't really own it, you can't sell it, costs can be high.
Right.
WAX seems to be saying, no, you can own it, you can trade it, we'll make it cheap and easy. It feels like it's trying to give power back to the user, letting them get real value from their digital time and money. Right, so we've covered a lot today. From the core idea of WAX, those really striking features like zero fees and low minting costs, all the way to these big mainstream deals with gaming and collectibles giants. It's definitely a blockchain carving out its own niche.
Yeah, to sum it up quickly, the commitment to zero user fees, the super low cost to create NFTs, that whole user-friendly ecosystem with Atomic Hub and the creator tools, plus those strategic partnerships with Amazon, Epic, Funko, it all points back to their main goal, making Web3 easy, fun, and valuable for lots of people, driving adoption in collectibles, games, and the metaverse.
So, thinking about all this,
Okay.
what does it mean for you listening, and maybe for where digital ownership is heading? WAX is actively trying to make creating and trading digital stuff almost trivially easy, almost free.
Yeah, it raises a big question.
If the cost and the hassle of owning digital things really does approach zero, how does that change how we think about value, about property? Not just in games or online, but maybe even connected to real things.
What happens when participation costs almost nothing?
Exactly. What kinds of new creativity, new ways of trading, new communities could pop up when anyone can join in, own things, and interact almost effortlessly? It could really reshape our digital lives, couldn't it? Something to think about.